An update on The Rock's status for WrestleMania 40 next year in Philadelphia. The Great One is reportedly far from committed to working a match against the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns at the Showcase of the Immortals. We've got details on that. Plus, Drew McIntyre was pulled from SmackDown due to a health issue, and reportedly, the health issue was actually bothering him prior to WrestleMania. We've got talks on what's going on with McIntyre at the moment. Bayley, there's been speculation about her future. We will reveal her internal status ahead of tomorrow night's Monday Night Raw. Ric Flair addresses his controversial Hall of Fame speech amid rumours and reports that WWE wasn't happy with the Nature Boy for his speech at the Hall of Fame going far off script. Could Legado del Fantasma becoming the LWO permanently on SmackDown? Dragon Lee hints he could be part of the upcoming WWE draft, and Cody Rhodes is about to hit an impressive WWE milestone. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment, and it sounds like it's Groundhog Day because I guess we're going to be spending another year speculating and wondering and talking about rumors and reports, wondering if The Rock could face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania next year. We spent a long time last year wondering if it was going to happen. Then, of course, it didn't. Roman Reigns faced Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania 39. But could it happen next year? Could it happen at WrestleMania 40? Could it happen in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania? Well, in the build-up to WrestleMania 39, speculation ran rampant about the possibility of The Rock appearing at the event to take on undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns. Of course, it didn't come to fruition, with The Rock supposedly not feeling ready enough to compete in the ring, despite having quite a lot of time to get in good shape, or ring shape certainly. Eyes have pointed towards WrestleMania 40 instead as a potential setting for a match between The Rock and Roman Reigns, but Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter isn't too optimistic about this prospect when discussing Reigns' next challenger or challengers, saying, quote, Reigns had pretty much gone through everyone at the top tier on the roster, and with the exception of Gunther or, of course, The Rock. Dwayne Johnson, when he turned down this year due to the schedule, did leave a crack in the door open about the possibility of doing Philadelphia at WrestleMania 40 next year, but that was far from a commitment and certainly nothing anyone should count on happening. There didn't appear to be another new challenger on the horizon. Of course, it remains to be seen if Reigns will continue to hold his undisputed WWE Universal Championship all the way to WrestleMania 40 for the possibility of this dream match happening, or if he'll drop it before that point. Of course, with the draft coming up, there have been rumors and rumblings that possibly the championships could be split, but of course, it's really the Universal Championship reign, which is truly the historic one. That's the one that he's held for over 900 days, closing in on 1,000 days in May. And it looks like he is going to hit that because most likely he's not going to be wrestling at the May Premium Live event, that being obviously Backlash in Puerto Rico, although he could be wrestling at the King and Queen of the Ring event in Crown in Saudi Arabia. So we'll have to wait and see, but certainly I guess we're just going to do the same thing that we did last year. That's speculate, that's see rumors, that's hear talk, that possibly and wonder if The Rock is going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think The Rock will ever wrestle again? Would you like to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns next year at WrestleMania? Or are you kind of a bit over it at the moment? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now let's talk about Drew McIntyre as well. Drew McIntyre's been a big topic of conversation recently, hasn't he? Amid being pulled from SmackDown, dealing with a health issue, his contract coming up in around 9 months' time. In addition to that, a report being put out there that he's not happy with the creative and cash side of things in WWE at the moment too, and both sides being quite far apart when it comes to negotiating a new deal, but plenty of time still to go on his contract. Whatever the health issue / injury that Drew McIntyre is dealing with, however, started prior to last Sunday's WrestleMania 39 match. This update comes courtesy of Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, who had first reported Friday that McIntyre was going to miss SmackDown due to a health issue. Meltzer said McIntyre worked through the issue last Sunday in a loss to WWE Intercontinental Champion Gunther and Sheamus in a physical three-way title match at the Showcase of the Immortals. It's still unclear how long he'll be out for or when the issue first occurred, or to be honest, what it even is. Meltzer said McIntyre's absence isn't due to the contract talks between he and WWE, despite the news coming out this past week. Meltzer said the two sides are, quote, not close on money, but that the contract expiration date is a long ways away. It has been reported by Sean Ross Sapp that it's around 9 months away. Regarding this speculation that McIntyre could sign with AEW upon the expiration of his contract and that he could appear August's Wembley Stadium AEW All-In event in London, Meltzer said he didn't think that would be contractually possible, which again does make sense considering if they're saying it's 9 months added on, that's far too long for him to appear at All In London. Plus, you have to think McIntyre has had a few months here and there out of action when it comes to injury. He did have a neck injury towards the end of 2021 into 2022. They might add some time on. So possibly what we're looking at is right towards the end of the year if McIntyre was to leave WWE upon the expiration of his contract. So again, he's not going to be signing with AEW anytime soon. And ultimately, if you ask me at the moment, is McIntyre going to stay or does he go? I would probably leaning to him staying, considering he's a big WWE guy. But that's my opinion. What's yours? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Another person people have been talking about recently is Bayley. And there's an interesting update when it comes to the internal status of the former women's champion when it comes to the upcoming Raw taping this Monday. A new update has emerged on the WWE internal roster status of Bayley, following speculation about her future with the company. The popular star recently caused a stir online following WrestleMania 39 Saturday by tweeting, quote, "And sometimes the most romantic love story comes to an end. Bye." Naturally, that got fans talking, with theories ranging from Damage Control splitting up, all the way to Bayley leaving WWE entirely. Concerns ramped up once again when Bayley was absent from the Raw after WrestleMania. Reports emerged afterwards that her not accompanying Dakota Kai and Io Sky to the ring for their tag team match was a late change, among many late changes made by Vince McMahon, who was backstage running the show that night. A recent report, though, did indicate that there's no expectation that Bayley is leaving WWE and that her tweet was not a sign that she's unhappy or anything like that. It was just a case of Bayley stirring the pot on social media. Well, in a new update per WRKD Wrestling on Twitter, Bayley is currently internally listed as, quote, available to use for the upcoming episode, that being the April 10 episode of Monday Night Raw. As at the time of recording this video, Bayley has not been announced for the show, but that could change in the next 24 hours or so. It could be much ado about nothing. Most likely it probably is. But of course, if she doesn't appear on Raw, naturally that will continue to get people talking. So it's going to be really interesting, certainly, to see what happens with Bayley in WWE moving forward. Now, a controversial thing coming out of WrestleMania weekend, there were a few bits of controversy, obviously the main event of WrestleMania, but one thing prior to WrestleMania that was controversial was Ric Flair's Hall of Fame induction speech of the Great Muta. Not necessarily because it was all offensive or anything like that, but more so because reports emerged that people within WWE weren't happy about the Nature Boy massively diverting from the pre-approved script. Now, the Great Muta's Hall of Fame induction may have been a surprise to many, including Muta, given that he never competed in the company. However, the Japanese icon was undeniably deserving of the honor. At the Hall of Fame ceremony, Muta would be inducted by 16-time world champion Ric Flair, someone who wrestled Muta many times in the 1980s in the NWA. However, despite Flair and Muta's history together, Flair's actual induction speech would not go down too well behind the scenes in WWE, a fact that puzzles the Nature Boy. Speaking on his latest To Be The Man podcast, Flair would discuss the speech and why he thinks WWE may have potentially had an issue with it. Flair said, quote, "I don't know what they didn't like about it. You have to remember that 99% of the people that attended that building don't even know who Muta is. The wrestling people do, but I'm saying the audience. Anytime you compare someone to Ricky Steamboat and Shawn Michaels, I don't see how they can complain about that because he was that good, or say that he was the first guy to do the moonsault on TV. I didn't hear it from anybody in the WWE, but that's not unusual. I did hear they didn't like me bringing up Sting, but Sting's in our Hall of Fame. I merely asked the question, are you sure that Muta wants me over Sting? That's all I said. If you can't speak the truth without being criticized, I thought that was a very fair question on my part because he actually wrestled more than I did with Muta. Well, of course, Sting would have been a better person to induct the Great Muta into the Hall of Fame, but Sting's currently contracted to AEW, and I'm sure WWE didn't want to ask. Sting managed to honor Muta in the best way possible. He competed in Muta's final match in Pro Wrestling Noah earlier this year. I think he was fine with it. But Flair, being Ric Flair, of course, says, I don't see why they had an issue with it. I think the main issue is that there was a script that was approved, and Flair said, no, I'm not doing it. I'm reading something else instead, despite there being a teleprompter in front of him that he could have read from if he wanted to. The LWO. What's going on with the LWO at the moment? Well, here's an update as to what's going on with Legado del Fantasma / the LWO and the plans moving forward. The last few weeks have been quite busy for the Legado del Fantasma faction after siding with Rey Mysterio throughout the disrespect he's received from his son Dominic Mysterio. The group consisting of Santos Escobar, Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde and Zelina Vega underwent a natural babyface turn. Ahead of WrestleMania 39, Rey Mysterio approached the group and handed them the Latino World Order shirts, signaling the reformation of the old WCW stable. It seems as though, going forwards, the group will begin to shed the Legado del Fantasma name in favour of this new one. The WRKD wrestling account on Twitter reported that, quote, discussions have taken place which would see Legado del Fantasma transition away from their old name and become known full-time as the LWO. Rey Mysterio was notably a member of the LWO back in WCW, though it came with him being forced into joining. The modern-day incarnation seems to be a more positive one, with Mysterio leading the group of babyfaces. It's unsaid and uncertain at the moment if Mysterio is going to be part of this faction full-time or if it's just a case of they're not called Legado del Fantasma anymore, they're just called the LWO. So we'll find out certainly on WWE TV as we move forward. Now, Dragon Lee, could he be part of the upcoming WWE draft? Well, major WWE acquisition Dragon Lee has now teased a main roster call-up in the WWE draft, targeting Dominic Mysterio. On the April 7 edition of SmackDown, Triple H announced there would soon be a WWE draft where every superstar in the company would be eligible for a potential move. Dragon Lee has now taken to Twitter to call out SmackDown's Dominic Mysterio. Sharing a video of Triple H's announcement, Lee tweeted, quote, just let me kick Dominic Mysterio's ass. Lee has wrestled just 2 televised matches for the NXT brand since his WWE signing was announced in late December. Since Dragon Lee confirmed that he was WWE bound at a AAA show, WWE has touted Lee as a major acquisition. It makes sense that Dominic isn't in Lee's good books, given the fact that Dominic has been feuding with his father, Rey Mysterio, who is a legendary name in the world of Lucha Libre. Dominic, though, has since responded to Dragon Lee with a South Park gif asking, who's the kid? He captioned the post, get in line. Now, I don't think that Dragon Lee would be involved, considering, as I mentioned, even by the time the draft comes around, which was reportedly early May, he would have only wrestled a handful of times in NXT. There had been rumoured that he would be called up to the main roster sometime early next year and that he was going to be in the developmental system for just a short period of time, but this would be incredibly, almost record-breaking levels of shortness to be in NXT. Finally, Cody Rhodes, he's addressing his WWE future tomorrow on Monday Night Raw, and Cody Rhodes' next match will actually mark an impressive milestone in WWE for the former AEW Executive Vice President. While Rhodes only returned to WWE in April 2022, the popular star has wrestled many matches throughout his career for the company, 1,499 to be exact. Wrestle Features has pointed out that Rhodes' next match will be his 1,500th inside of a WWE ring. Rhodes last wrestled in the main event of WrestleMania 39 on last Sunday, unsuccessfully challenging for Roman Reigns' WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. After 34 minutes of action, Solo Sikoa attacked Rhodes while the referee's back was turned before Reigns dropped Cody with a final spear. The result has received a mixed reaction, with many disappointed that the WrestleMania main event ended following bloodline interference. Cody almost had his 1,500th match on the following edition of Raw, with Brock Lesnar aligning himself with the former AEW EVP to face off against Reigns and Sikoa. This bout, though, ultimately didn't happen because it didn't even get underway. Lesnar attacked Rhodes during the pre-match in-ring introductions. As I mentioned, Rhodes is set to address his WWE future in a promo on this coming week's episode of Monday Night Raw. So it's going to be interesting. When will Rhodes have that 1,500th match? Will it be on Raw tomorrow? Will it be at Backlash? Will it be against Brock Lesnar? It would be pretty impressive, wouldn't it, that to mark 1,500 matches inside of a WWE ring, Brock Lesnar, he's the opponent to have that match against. That would be pretty impressive. And it's also pretty impressive considering that Cody Rhodes wasn't in WWE for 6 years as well. And he's had that many matches and he's still fairly young. So looks like he's going to get plenty more matches under his belt in WWE. I know I've seen quite a few people speculating because Rhodes said, I'm going to address my future tomorrow night on Raw or Monday night on Raw. People said, does this mean that Cody Rhodes is going to be leaving WWE? I would be flabbergasted. But if we've learned anything from the past 12 months in professional wrestling, it's never say never. But again, I'd still be very, very surprised. I believe he signed a multi-year contract last year when he returned, so I don't think Cody Rhodes is going anywhere. But there you go, guys. It's the latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.